Howdy, this is your captain speaking. I've been meaning to do a tutorial on how I draw hands and give any tips I have on tackling them. It was only recently that I got pretty comfortable drawing them. I took a cloth figure drawing class a couple of years ago, and watching my teacher draw hands helped me understand them better. So hopefully watching me draw some hands will help you understand them better. I'm not the absolute best, but I'm not afraid of them, if that makes sense. And I actually like drawing hands 90% of the time. For those who don't know, I use Photoshop CS5. I have been for a while now. However, for this video, I'm just going to be sketching, so any medium will work if you want to draw along with me. I actually encourage drawing along with this video if you can. Best way to get better at drawing anything is repetition. Whether the end product comes out how you like it or not. It's always good to just get something down on paper. Okay, now I'm going to sketch out some bodies to put the hands on. I might do a tutorial on the way I sketch the entire body one day, but for right now I'm going to speed through it so we can get to the important part. Thank you so much for being patient, and let's get to work. Okay, so we're going to start with the basic hand for warm-up, and usually I give myself some slack because I'm just warming up. We're not trying to make the most perfect hand right now, we're just brushing off the cobwebs before we get into the deep stuff. Most of the time when I start a hand, I don't draw the base first really. If it's not in a complex pose, I think you can usually get away with starting with the thumb, and then just doing the palm later. Next, I draw the base of each finger, remembering that all the fingers have different heights. The middle finger will be the longest of all the other fingers, and the pinky will be the smallest. If you remember that, the pointer and ring finger can usually get away with being any length, as long as not the longest or the shortest. Then I draw the second part of the fingers, or the phalanges. How you draw the tips of the fingers is really up to your style. Some people go really pointy, some people just square it right off at the nails. Whatever looks good for you is good for you. Just remember those heights. And a quick tip on connecting the hand to the wrist. The bump, aka the pisiform, is on the side of the wrist with the pinky, and depending on your style, the palm goes out wider than the wrist. So we're all warmed up and ready to draw some more difficult hands. And you know who's a pretty good reference for hands? Troy Bolton from High School Musical. Not even gonna say Zac Efron because Troy was particularly handsy in the High School Musical stuff. It was weird when I realized it. It might have been all that basketball stuff he was into. Anyhow, I'm going to be using a few screenshots of him from the movie as reference today. I'm starting with the thumb like before and drawing the basic shape of the hand. I'm also drawing where the palm is. There's a bump for the thumb and a bump for the pinky. That'll help keep the hand from getting too big by putting those as bookends. Then I'm going to start the basic shape of the other hand as well, starting with that thumb again and making a square shape for the base of the hand. I'm also going to put the pinky on this hand as well to bracket the rest of the fingers. Now I always draw the hands before I draw the arms because sometimes you want the hand to go somewhere and the arm disagrees with you. Once you get the hand shape where you want it to be, connect a line from the wrist of the hand to the shoulder of the character. Then draw a line that intersects the middle of that line, making an X. Where the line ends is where you put the elbow of the arm. Make sure you don't make the arm too long, remembering that the elbow usually lines up with your belly button. Back to these hands. Next I'm going to draw the middle finger to establish how far the hand's going to point out. I'm going to draw the pointer a bit shorter than the middle, and the ring finger about the same size. Because the fingers are lined up like this, I can use the outline of the middle finger to draw the ring finger. Your fingers usually move together, so the shapes and bends are the same most of the time. The way you shape and bend your middle or pointer finger is usually how the other fingers wind up. Sometimes I draw little circles for the knuckles, so that's what I'm doing right here. I didn't like that pinky, so we're going to get rid of it. For the other hand, I'm going to do like what I did for the warm-up. I'm going to start with the base stubs for each finger, then draw out the phalanges with their respective heights. Gonna define these hands real quickly because I like mine to be a little pointy on the knuckles and such. And now let's draw these arms. Not gonna talk too much about how I do my arms because this is a hand tutorial, but let me know if you're interested in that for the next tutorial. This next set of hands is a bit more difficult. This hand is much lower. I actually messed up on the first one and redid it later, so I'm not gonna make you sit through the first attempt, but I did point out the palm because it's important in this pose. Anyhow, I actually start with the base of the palm on this one too. I then go right back into drawing the thumb. This shape is very similar to the first hand on the other tutorial, just flipped. However, you can see more of the fingers. They don't overlap like the other one. When the fingers are together like this, it's very easy because you could just line them up and then change the height of each tip. Now I draw the other hand and arms and even the face, but I'm still not happy with the first hand. It looks like the picture, but sometimes truth is weirder than fiction. Sometimes what makes sense in a photo looks misshapen when it's drawn. So I'm going to redo the hand in a similar pose that makes more sense to me artistically. Still gonna start with the thumb, ain't nothing changed, but next the pointer finger is gonna be a cylinder for the base and a crescent shape for the tip. Once I've got that done, I'm just gonna line up the fingers with their respective size. My tip for if you're having trouble with a pose or shape for a hand, if you can get away with it, put the fingers together. If it's already a difficult hand position, no one will fault you for putting one or two of the fingers close to one another. That looks better. Last but not least, let's draw some clasping hands, some hands that are together. I always start with the hand on top, starting with the thumb again, and then the basic shape of the hand so the second hand has something to work around. The thumb of the second hand comes first too, always. The first hand will act as a base for the shape of the second one since it's being covered. Then all I have to do is line up the base of the other fingers for the first hand. And for the second hand, all I have to do is draw the phalanges, the tips. They'll go right over the first hand, and depending on your style, the tips will look however you like them. My tips look like little beans. Look at those quality hands you just drew. If you're not happy with them, it's fine. Like I said, it's all about repetition. Don't be afraid to draw hands, don't hide them. Even if they don't look the best, it's good practice. A good looking thumb, palm, and just overall shape can make your hands look very, very nice. Remember your finger heights, piece form placements, and references, and you'll be solid. Bet on it. If there are any other hand poses you need help with, just let me know and I'll try to do another tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you made it to the end and I hope you made some cool hands. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!